started my journey to become a better woodturner. I have completed my 30-day challenge, spent a day with a master of the craft, and got a bigger lathe. So what's next? Pens. Now usually turning pens means buying more kit. Special mandrels, bushings, presses, and all the other bits. But I don't like spending money on buying lots of new kit without testing out if I'm going to enjoy using them first. So I've heard you can turn Bic Pens without buying all the kit stuff. Let's give it a go. Taking apart the Bic Pen to remove the quill so I can measure what size hole I will need to bore out and to what depth. Pick some nice wood from my stock and cut it to about 170mm. Over to the table saw to rip it to its thickness to make neat little pen blanks. A quick marking up of the centres followed by centre punching to help align to the lathe. Luckily I have some of these long 3.5 and 4mm drill bits which will do the job for boring out the hole. But there are a few issues here that I haven't spotted yet that will cause me problems, as you'll see. The first issue I'm aware of is from my change to this lathe. I didn't account for the fact my old accessories have a 2 Morse taper, and this lathe only accepts a 1 Morse taper. So I'm having to use an adapter to be able to use my lathe drill chuck, which unbalances things a bit. Secondly, I have yet to upgrade this to a variable speed control, and the speed adjustment bolts are a bit seized up. So yes, I'm trying to bore out a hole at too high a speed, hence the burning. I hadn't yet got the feel of this lathe. It's a different height to my old one. Which is a good thing, as I'm 6'1" and my old setup was far too low for me. To throw me off a bit, everything is in a different position to what I'm used to. You'll have to excuse the poor technique here as I dial it in. quick test fit to check it's alright. Another bit of experimenting here. I had some steel braid wire and I wanted to see if I could burn in some line marks on the pen for decoration. With some friction polish as a quick finish, it turned out okay, but I knew I could do better. Now this is where the hidden issue I hadn't spotted started to mess with me. As I turned the blank down to size, I noticed the hole I had bored out had not gone in straight along the centre. And so it's blown out at the back. For attempt number 3, I tried to mix things up by using the drill press instead of drilling it out on the lathe. But it wasn't big enough, so I had to return to the lathe chuck. And that's pen 3 blown. And pen number 4. I decided to sleep on it and come back to it in the morning, as there's an element I haven't mentioned yet. My dad was coming over at midday for his birthday meal, where I planned to give him a pen. And what I had so far was no good. So with birthday biker dad now on his way, I was against the clock. My dad is a keen photographer along with being a biker, and his work does pretty well over on Flickr. You can check out his work if you're interested. Harleynik rides again. I'll link it in the description. Well, that's pen number 5 blown. Not a great start, and I'm starting to feel the pressure, as it's not long until birthday biker dad arrives now. Pen 6 looks like it's going better. And I wanted to experiment some more. As an obvious issue with turning Bic pens like this is that you don't have a lid. I used the remainder of the pen blank to turn a little cap or stand, as otherwise it would go to waste. I just had to measure up my pen and bore out an appropriate sized hole in the turned cap stand. Although in a rush to get things done before birthday biker dad arrives, I had picked up the wrong size drill bit when I first bored out the blank, 5mm instead of 4mm, and so this pen was unfortunately also a failure. Pen number 7, and I'm really up against it now with time running out. It's all or nothing, so I grabbed a nice piece of walnut and away we go again. I did try with some lime burning on the walnut, but I didn't like the way it looked in the end, so I sanded it back off. pen finished and parted off, it was time to turn the cap stand again. And the sound of dogs barking madly in the background could only mean one thing. Time was up. I wasn't quite ready yet, but thankfully the kids and dogs were enough to keep Birthday Biker Dad busy just a little bit longer. And there we go, finally, a successful pen I was happy to be able to give to my dad. There was cake, presents and delicious home-cooked pizza. And once everybody had gone back home happy, it was back to work for me, as my dad shares the same birthday as my brother-in-law, Matt. I was feeling more confident now, and my dad's visit to my workshop had highlighted what was the root cause of all the blowout. My tailstock on the lathe was being pulled a fraction off-center whenever I locked it down in place. So I shimmed it up on the offending side with some feeler gauges as a temporary fix and got to work on Matt's pen. I went with some oak this time to mix things up. I wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who watched, shared, liked and subscribed to our last video. It did much better than I expected and I was blown away by the response. Thank you so much, and I would really love to see some of your versions of the log cabin birdhouses. As I went with a thicker grip this time, it meant I needed a larger hole for the cap stand. I tried with a spade bit, but it was a bad idea. It just got stuck in position. So I went with the largest drill bit I had to get things started. then lined things up to hollow it out with my turning tools. There we go, some adventures in pen turning. Give us a like if you enjoyed, and subscribing always helps smaller channels like ours. Thanks, take care, and see you again soon.